In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 things that you should do once you save $1,000 so you can grow your money even further from there. I found that if there's one particular category that we should focus on when it comes to saving an amount of money in a set amount of time, it's really involving those non-fixed expenses that can sometimes equal a small or a medium amount of money. These are expenses that have nothing to do with your bills and utilities that you have to pay the same amount or somewhat the same amount every month. But these are things like when you go on outings with your friends and your family, eating out at restaurants, or other material items that you tend to buy on Amazon as an impulse buy. Expenses in this category seem to add up because these are expenses that we justify to ourselves that, it's only one time that I'm gonna do this, or I don't make this purchase all the time, so we don't really count it towards our budget. But I've seen in myself just how much this amount of money can add up over time. If I was to cut back from all of these type of non-fixed expenses for a month or two, saving up $1,000 would be very easy. And this is why I like to include a category in my budget that I like to call fun money. Now, what is fun money? Nobody likes to budget. Well, at least nobody that I know. But I know it's something very important. But to make it less painful, I like to set aside $20 to $30 a week, and I use that money for these kind of non-fixed expenses. That way, you'll be setting money aside for these type of expenses, and it won't mess up your plan as far as saving money by cutting back elsewhere. Now, once you have your $1,000, we move on to the next step. This is Jack Ma, the founder of the Chinese company Alibaba. I'm sure you've heard of it before. Now, Jack Ma was born into a poor family in China, and he struggled a lot in school. After graduation, he applied to many jobs, and he got rejected from all of them. Even the job at KFC. 23 people applied, 22 got hired, and Jack was not one of them. Even the colonel wouldn't hire Jack, but he was determined to succeed. So what did Jack do? He started to learn English by practicing with tourists and teaching at a local university. He also invested in himself, and he started to learn how the internet worked and how e-commerce worked, which was way in the early stages at this time in China. So with the skill that he learned, Jack started his first internet company, but it ultimately failed. But with the knowledge that he gained from starting this business, he started Alibaba in 1999 with a few of his friends. And this company started as a business-to-business e-commerce website. And the rest is history. Alibaba ended up growing into a massive company, one of the largest e-commerce websites in the world, with the current market cap of around $270 billion. So by Jack investing in himself, teaching himself English, e-commerce, the internet, and entrepreneurship, it allowed him to change his career path and create a very, very successful company. So I tell you the story just so you can understand what investing in yourself actually does. It gives you the skill set to be able to create income that doesn't have a limit to it. Before I got into the tech field, I didn't have a very bright future at all. I was working at a very low paying job, and I didn't really know where to head. I wanted to make more money, I wanted to get out of debt, but I didn't know what to do. But then I realized that I needed to make more income in a way that was more consistent. So I saved up some money and I started investing into some programs to learn how to code. These were websites that would teach me everything I needed to know to learn this skill, so eventually I could hopefully get a new job. With some persistence and some patience, I did end up getting that new job and changing my career. And changing my career was the first step in me getting anywhere regarding my finances, because I learned a high income skill. So if you're in a situation to where you can save up $1,000, but you're not sure when you will be able to save up much more than that, then once you save up this $1,000, you have to see what kind of skill that you can learn and something that you will enjoy so you can start increasing your income. Now, once you do increase your income, it's a good idea to open up some type of investment account. And I always recommend a Roth IRA and a brokerage account. A Roth IRA is an account that allows you to prepare for retirement, but you get some pretty good tax benefits from the Roth IRA. In a traditional IRA, you can make your contributions now and you don't pay taxes on it, but once you take that money out towards retirement, you have to pay taxes on it depending on your tax bracket. With the Roth IRA, it's flipped. So I pay my taxes now and I contribute that money into my Roth IRA, but as this money builds and compounds over time, when I want to withdraw it from my account, I don't pay any taxes on it, and it doesn't matter what my tax bracket is at that point. Uncle Sam won't get $1 of it. Now, once you have your retirement account, it's a good idea to open a brokerage account. The reason why I recommend opening a brokerage account after your retirement account, because you have a limit on the amount of money that you can contribute to the retirement account each year. Now, a brokerage account, you can do the same things that you would do in a retirement account. You can buy and sell stocks, index funds, mutual funds, and other similar assets. Some of the more popular brokerage firms are Fidelity, Vanguard, TD Ameritrade, Robinhood. I mean, there's so many out there. When you open a brokerage account, you deposit your money into that account, and you can use that money to buy your investments. Now the brokerage is like the middleman between you and the stock market. When you execute a trade on your brokerage account, that firm will execute that trade for you on the stock market. But there's something very important you need to know about the brokerage account. There are no tax benefits to this account. As I mentioned with the Roth IRA, you can build that money over time, but once you withdraw that money, you don't have to pay anything. But on the brokerage, you're gonna pay taxes on it whether you withdraw that money in under a year or after a year. Under a year, you have to pay a short-term gains tax. So if I buy an investment on January 1st of this year and I make some money on it and I sell it in May of this year, I'm gonna have to pay a short-term gains tax. Compared to if I buy an investment on January 1st of this year and I hold it for 3 years and sell it, then I will still have to pay taxes on it, but it'll be a long-term gains tax, which is typically a lot lower than a short-term gains tax. And this is what I mean about there being no tax benefits to this account. So why would I recommend having a brokerage account? And it's really due to the flexibility. If you have all your money in your retirement account, you may be building a lot of wealth, but you can't touch it until you're 65 and a half. If you start to build both accounts at the same time, the brokerage account will give you the flexibility to where if you need money now, you can do that as long as you have the money to pay the taxes on it. So I have both. I have a brokerage and I have a Roth IRA, and I look at the brokerage account more like a short-term account, and I look at the IRA as something that I'm not even going to think about taking money out until years later. So once you have your accounts, then it's a good idea to look at some index funds. Now you all know I love index funds because this is like the easiest way to invest into the market for anybody. Now index funds are a type of fund that tracks an index like the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, or the NASDAQ. Now an index fund's only goal is to match the performance of the index that it tracks. So as the index rises and falls, the index fund will rise and fall with it. Now index funds don't have active management. They don't have someone that's actively trying to buy and sell stocks and trying to time the market. And this is why they have lower fees and are really attractive to a lot of investors, because they don't cost a lot to invest into. Because index funds are diversified through a large number of stocks, you get exposure to all kinds of different companies and industries in the market by only buying one index fund. So it's an easy way to diversify yourself in the market instead of trying to buy individual stocks and trying to build your diversified portfolio, because taking that route is most likely going to cost you more money and more headache by trying to research companies and research trends, and most people don't diversify their portfolio correctly anyway. So it's easier to just buy something that's already diversified for you. Now one thing to take note of is depending on the brokerage that you choose, they will have a different selection of index funds. For example, Fidelity has a set number of index funds that are exclusive to Fidelity. So if I create a Vanguard account, I won't be able to have access to a lot of these funds that are in Fidelity. So it's a good idea to look at some brokerages that you're interested in so you know what they provide. Now the most important part to all of this, since we're starting from just $1,000 and we want to grow it into a bigger amount, is compounding. Or in other words, it's the process of earning interest on top of the interest that you've already made on the money that you have invested. So if you reinvest your earnings instead of withdrawing your earnings, your account and your portfolio will grow exponentially over time. For example, let's say I have $1,000 and I invest into some type of index fund and I make 8% of my money for the first year. That means that after that first year, my $1,000 investment will now be $1,080 since I made an $80 profit. Now if I'm starting in year 2 and I take that $1,080 and I get that same return again, now my investment will be $1,166.40. Now I went from $1,000 to $1,166 without making any other contributions into my account. And this is how compounding is so powerful. The longer your investment has time to grow, the more money that you have the chance of making. Now compounding can be very powerful to make a lot of money over time, but you have to be patient and you have to get started early. So the sooner that you can start investing, the better. So once you're able to increase your income through some skill that you're going to be learning, consistently making contributions and relying on compounding interest, you'll be on track to turn that $1,000 into a much larger amount. But this all starts with increasing your income first. So if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this.